Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are doing great. Hope that all is pleasant for you. And most importantly, my friends, hope that you are in good health. Once again, my friends, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. I want to do a little disclaimer for this video. And this is an educational video and it's for educational purposes. So anyone watching this video, I don't want you to feel any different because it's just for educational purposes. And most of the time when I do these videos, I do them strictly from the ancestors. And sometimes I may sit there and the message comes, and if I don't do it, it's not gonna go away, gonna keep coming back. So that's when I do these videos, because I don't want you to feel like, oh, you're hitting on, because some people think like that when you talk about certain things, you're attacking them, you're attacking their beliefs, you're attacking their values or their whatever is it they have going on. And I think those people are low-minded people. Because of all the things in this world, at the end of the day, we're all humans. And humans are designed to think. And no power, no individual, no entities, no organization on this planet must ever have the kind of power to control the way you think. And not only that, the things that you have to say. If anyone is doing that, I think they are doing a great disservice to humanity and mankind. So I just want to put this out here in this video. So anyone with a low brain, low mind, that don't think for themselves, that are following the herd as sheep's, goats, all the low lives in our world. If you watch this video, don't be thinking that you have the right to censor my video. Don't be thinking you have the right to stop or tell me what to say. You don't. And this platform, as I was told, was established, so they say, to give you the voice, to give you and to empower you to be able to say those things that you think, those things that you feel can help society, because that's what all of us are doing, including whoever founded this platform. So I just want to clear that out the way before I start this video. Most people that watch my video, those who are subscribed to my channel, and even those who've been following what I do here, know I often say these things. Organized religion. I talk of organized religion in most of my videos. I do them intentionally. I do them because I want people to know the demise and symptoms of organized religion. I talk of them in general, but today I'm going to be specific so that you know what I know about organized religion. For me personally, I don't have anything against true religion, which I think all humans are religious by nature. You know what it's called? Spirituality. And that's what I think each of us are. And I think that's what each of us must subscribe to, not organized religion. So today I'm going to be talking to you about symptoms of organized religion. What is organized religion? Organized religion is anything over any organization, because they don't practice spirituality. They don't have anything about them that's godlike. They're just organization whose main purpose, it could be more, but the main purpose is about power and control. Not just power and control, include money into it, wealth, the acquisition of wealth. And with wealth comes power. This is how it is. In order for you to control anything, work on your money. Once you have your wealth, it's easier to control because people only care about those people who take care of their needs, those who can feed them, who can clothe them, who can do those things. They respect these people. So that, my friend, is what organized religion is. So we're going to be discussing organized religion because I say it a lot on my channel and never really get the time to explain what it is. So this whole video is for organized religion. Again, I want you to know that I personally don't have anything against religion. I only have issues with organized religion. And I know organized religion is embedded in our society. In fact, organized religion is the bedrock of our societies. Our laws, our constitutions, our hospitals, our schools, all of those institutions that are the fabric of our daily life and our activities are all engines of organized religion. So as I wanted to say, let me go back to my train of thought. Organized religion is any organization, any entity, any institution that is over 1,000 years. Maybe you can say 2,000 years. That, my friend, is organized religion. So organized religion, because of the amount of years that they've been around, the amount of decades, centuries they've been around, they have permeated our society, our daily lives, to a point where there's nothing you can do to uproot them. My goal is not to uproot organized religion. I don't think I can do that. My thing is for organized religion to do the right thing. It's very simple to do the right thing. Why is it simple to do the right thing? To tell the truth. Tell the truth to the people. Let them know what realities are. Let them talk about the realities. So when you want to know what an organized religion is, first off, organized religion has nothing to do with spirituality. Organized religion has nothing to do with God. God does not exist in organized religion. What exists in organized religion are charismatic leaders masquerading. Again, what exists in organized religion are charismatic leaders or cult-like. Because most of the time when organized religion try to associate charismatic or charismatic or charismatic leader or leadership, they often associate that with court, occultism. They don't know they themselves are court. They're also part of the cultism establishment, because all organized religion, believe it or not, started as a court. All of them, you understand, including Christianity. Because when Christianity was founded, that's how the Romans describe Christianity as. The Roman Empire considered them as a court. You understand? So over thousands of years, they become legit. How? They establish schools, hospitals, because they know the reality that no God, the God they talk of, not only schools, hospitals, they establish government too. Not only Did they know that there's no God coming from nowhere to govern the affairs of men? They know that God is not coming from nowhere to provide medical help for you. They know that God is coming from nowhere to educate you of things of the world. So they had to create these things so that you can have them here and then say, okay, yeah, believe in this. But meanwhile, in reality, these are your realities. And we're going to help you solve them. You understand? So in organized religion, Christianity is organized religion. Buddhism is organized religion. Islam is organized religion. What is it? Judaism is organized religion. Anything over 1,000 years is organized religion. All of these religions out here, I just name you the major ones. But all of the other ones, like Mormonism, these are all, how did Mormonism started? You see, just like that. A lot of people, when they look at Catholicism, some don't even think Catholicism is Christianity. You understand? There are a lot of denominations out here. They don't think Catholicism is Christianity. They don't, and it's true. Now we're going to add the new one to it, the new form of organized religion. I think it's been around over 100 to 200 years now, maybe 100 or more, because they are hidden within Judaism. So it's hard to really tell whether they are organized religion. But I can say that Zionism is organized religion. And I hope that someday they can say that too, so they can be added amongst the other organized religion. Organized religion is around. They are powerful. And they govern everything. Our schools, our laws, social cohesion, all of those things that are part of society are formation of organized religion. So you see, those people that are on the fringe on religion, they don't understand that the same thing that is speaking out against is part of the society. So basically, you're speaking out against a powerful entities. What I see going to happen, and I think this is going to be the next war. It's going to be a religious war. But as it has been in history, it's going to happen again. And this time, this is what the ancestor has been putting on my mind, and I must say it, that the war that we will see, maybe not now, but maybe in the future, maybe in near future, will be between Catholicism and Zionism. I can see it. I can see it. It's already started to happen. Although Zionism is reclusive, maybe, I don't want to say reclusive, maybe they are more like hidden, but they will come out, and they will come out as a religion, which I think they are. They are. You don't call them a cult. Don't call them that, because that's not what it is. This is a legitimate religion. They've been around for anything over 100, I think 100 to 200 or 300 years. It's a religion, whether you like it or not. It's a legitimate religion. You can call it whatever, but I think it is. And you can start to see, like, there are videos out with IDF in Lebanon, and these individuals stomping on the let's say images of Jesus. I think Jesus is not a form of image. I don't condone anything adultery, adult. I think anything in the form of image is, in my view, because when the African tradition does that, they call that devil worship. But when Catholicism can put the image of Jesus in their churches, and not only that, the image of the mother of Jesus, what is that? You shouldn't have no graven image of anything. So, but you see these people, the Israeli army, soldier, young, I mean, some of them are young boys. They are desecrating these images. They are mimicking the Catholic way of worship. There's this one video where they're in like in a church or Catholic church, and they are mimicking the whole process that the priest goes through. So that's intentional. It's not like by mistake. They're not playing around. It's intentional. You understand? And then you can trace the war between these two organized religion. Yeah, I think it's a war. The Catholicism hasn't seen it yet, but it is. But you can trace back the history. And these people, Zionism, they know the history. And they understand the history and they pass it down. They're not like these other people out here that know nothing about the history. Zionism knows a lot about the history and they are willing to protect the history. So that's what the ancestor been putting on my mind. I've been holding on it to some time now. And I'm like, do I say it? But I think that would be the war. It's real. It's real. And Zionism is not just a religious sect that's poor. They have money. And their money is rooted in generational wealth. I mean, the Catholic Church has money, but yeah, those two are rich. And I think that's where this whole thing, if there's going to be a war, it's going to be from the church. His history has always proven this to be true. Yeah. Remember the crusade between Islam and the Christian church? I think this time it's going to be between Catholicism and Zionism. I just believe that. And I know you can see the symptoms. Because not only that, these soldiers that went into Lebanon, and I mean, it's like they do it in their own country in a way. They desecrate those things that belong to Christianity. But Christianity, I don't think they're pacifist, but I think they're weak. It's a weak religion. The reason why I think so is because they waiting for someone to fight the battle for them, and that person that you're waiting on to fight your battle, Jesus was not a weak person. Stop this thing. That whole story, if you want to know that Jesus was not weak, he didn't start it as a weak person, a meek, they call it meek. You understand? It's because when you look at the behavior of Peter, even Judas the Iscariot, at some point, like, man, you need to do something. We can't be walking on this. That's the true story of who Judas. That's why Judas went and sold him, because it's like, I can't be wasting my time all these years behind this guy and walk away with nothing. You understand? So to understand organized religion is to understand these things. And it's in the scripture, it says, be ye separated from the world. Anytime if you're in a religious set, like organized religion, if they tell you to separate yourself from the world, which is hard to do, but they tell you to do that, basically they tell you to separate yourself from people that you know, people you love, people you talk to. Only those in organized religion can do that. That's how you know. There's one symptom. You know it's organized religion, because they're always trying to see you to separate. You're not separating yourself because of holiness. No. You're not separating yourself because you're better than the other, but that's another way to control your mind so that you're not getting anything from the outside. It's organized religion. Organized religion has leadership, hierarchies, and these people are the brain for the organization, for the association, for the entities. Their words are the gospel. Nothing changes. Whatever they said is the gospel. That's the reason why they don't want you to associate with other people that they think are wise enough to understand what they are doing. You understand? So even families are separated because of that. If their children start asking, they don't want you to ask. Another thing again, they don't want you to ask too many questions, because whatever they thought they teach you, that, my friend, is what you should focus on and nothing else. You understand? This is how you know it's organized religion. Organized religion is strictly doctrine. You know, the way they dress. If you're supposed to dress certain way, that's how you dress. It's occultism. Occultism, cults are like that. They go by strict rules. Organized religion does the same thing. The only difference is occultism. Occultism is more mainly exclusive from society. They exclude themselves. They are more like a fringe group. You understand? That are not willing to come out yet. But they're out. But they're not. They're not willing to expose themselves. You know, Zionism was like that too. They ain't exposed themselves. But now they can do that now. That's why if you watch social media, you hear a lot of people talking Zionism, Zionism, Zionism. It doesn't mean that it wasn't out there. There are people that knew about it. Only those who were into that fold, they knew about it. And those who went in and they saw what was happening, and then they said, well, we're going to talk about it. So there are people talking about it, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is today, where everyone is talking about it. And I think they should come out too. They should come out and just say, this is who we are, and this is what we stand for. And whether you like it or not, they're in power and control. So what can you do? Nothing. You're just going to suck on it. You understand? So that's the reality. But yeah, whenever you have families being divided, children being divided from their family because of strict rules from their organized religious sect, then you know it's organized religion. So organized religion is the church, it's the mosque, it's the synagogue, it's the temple, it's anywhere you go to worship something that is in you. You know, you don't need to, like I've often say on my channel, you don't need to find God nowhere. If you want to call it a God, I don't call it God. I say the Almighty, you know, which is in all of us. You know, Jesus had to put up with this. I say Yeshua Mashiach had to put up with the same thing that I'm talking about. Had to put up with the same thing that our world is faced with, which is disorganized religion. Because when he came into the world, Yeshua HaMashiach, he saw that everything was organized into religious sect. They didn't call them Catholics. They didn't call them Methodists, Baptists, Evangelicals. They didn't call them Lutheran. They didn't call them Baptists. They didn't call them Jehovah's Witness or Shia Muslim. They didn't call them Judaism then. It was just the Pharisees, the Sadducees, you know. And then they had other names too. You know, and they're doing their thing. They had their organization, they call them temple then, you know, and they were running things and like, no, this is not right. So if you're going to talk about God, if you're going to put emphasis on spirituality, which is what Jesus was talking about, Jesus was speaking about, Yeshua Mashiach was speaking more about spirituality than religion. You understand? Because spirituality is embedded in you. If God is a spirit, then that's what Jesus was talking about, spirituality, which is personal. A personal relationship between you and your God, which is in you. Each of us has our God within us. That's what Jesus was talking about. Jesus was not talking about religion, because he knew religion was already around when he arrived here on earth. Yeshua HaMashiach. But these people later on, organized religion, say, you know what? Well, this guy is popular. So we are going to have a new dispensation where we are transitioning from the temple now, from these people right here to here. That's when Paul, the Apostle Paul, came into the picture. Without Paul, you won't have Catholicism. You wouldn't have what we have today: Methodist, Baptist, Lutheran, because Paul was an occultist. Everything Paul taught about Christianity was based on cultism. Understand? Because he saw what was happening. The Roman Empire knew anything that's hidden for 100 to 200 years is a cult. And organized religion is their humble beginning started as a cult too. Yeah, they started in little small group. And most people that know the history of Christianity and religion, organized religion, or any Islam too, all of them, Buddhism, Hinduism, all these people, they started as a small group. And then over time, they grew, and then it became apparent to the world to see. So that's how it starts. They all started as a cult, as an organized. Occultism don't mean evil. It just means fringe, like groups who just want to, commute together, as a group, share the same, they think alike, they behave alike, they dress alike, they do things like they're just doing it to themselves. There's no harm, there's no trouble in there, there's no problem. They're just doing their thing. They sometimes not subscribe to societal norms. They just do, they're on the fringe. You understand? That's why they're fringe groups. And then with time, they start gaining popularity. You see the church, most churches like that started that way. They started smaller. And then as time goes by, like the Jim Jones group, they started smaller. And then with time, the leader became charismatic. And then more and more members start to join. And then he became more powerful. And then he said, well, I have control over these people. And then telling them what to do. Jesus, in some of his teachings, would even assert some of his control into that. You see, and you see it today with some of these charismatic leaders. You hear there's another one, Gino Jennings. You see sometimes the way he talks. He lays his rules. Even when he's preaching, he lays his rules in there. You can see he has a different way of spinning the gospel. You see, so those are all symptoms. He tells people what to dress. He tells the woman how to look. These are all signs. And they grow like that, and then they become mega. The moment that that group that started as a fringe group, they're using the scripture. They know how to use the scripture. The scripture is the text, the holy grail. Let me say that. They want to say holy, so we're going to say holy for them. The holy grail, or let's say the guide, or the manifesto for organized religion. Because organized religion know that you can edit, you can omit, you can edit, you can omit whenever you want to. If that wasn't the case, you wouldn't have all these versions out here. Because it's just a manuscript. This is what it is. It has nothing holy about it. God isn't in it. It's not. There's no single word in any of those manuscripts or guide that came from God. None. Absolutely none. If you ask any of them out here in our world today, and I'm doing just exactly the same thing Yeshua HaMashiach was doing. It's the same thing. If you ask any of them to show you proof that there is a single word in there from God, they can't. So it's not based on science. It's not based on logic. It's not just based on fantasies directly from the minds of those who are the architect, you understand, of organized religion. Joseph Smith went into the bush, and then all of a sudden he said someone appeared to him, gave him the word. Moses went onto the mountain, and all of a sudden he got the word. Yeshua, Jesus, they say Jesus. Jesus went into the mountain. He got the word. Jesus, I said Jesus. The real name was Yeshua Mashiach, and he wasn't a character that they portray. If Yeshua Mashiach, aka Jesus the Christ, was the character that they portray him to be, then why are they living the life of the character that they said that they're living after, or they're trying to mimic or be like? You understand? So that's the opposite. Again, anytime you are told something to be the right direction, just know that thing that you're told of is the opposite direction. And that's what we see. You understand? The world will see these things. Just like in the days of Yeshua HaMashiach, aka Jesus the Christ. All of the things that he saw, including his disciples, is the same thing that we will see in our lifetime of these people. They've been around for a long time. Some been around as old as Jesus. They just converted into something new. It took a new face. And that's what it is. So when you hear me talk of organized religion, I am talking of people who are charismatic leaders. There's no shut on them in our world today. They'll come out preaching what they think is the truth. But meanwhile, it's just all fantasies in their head. It has nothing to do with your reality. You understand? The only reason why you think whatever they are saying or preaching to you is your reality is because you've been programmed to believe that they are the reality. They are the truth. They are the light. But if you do understand your scripture, and if you do understand who you are as an individual and your power, the power that you carry as an individual, which is what Yeshua HaMashiach was trying to convey to you, then you wouldn't be following the things of men. Organized religion is the things of men. You understand? It has nothing to do with the things of the Most High. It is strictly the things of men. It is based on their fantasies. And the fantasies, they're so crafty enough to put them into words. And because they wrote them down, and because they put them into a book, a manuscript called the Bible or the Quran or the Talmud, whatever you want to call them out there, the Gita, whatever is it out there that they are propagating, then it makes that. In order for them to be organized religion, they have to sell something to you. They cannot come and talk. That was the argument they were going through way back when they started to form this thing called religion on earth. They didn't have anything to show for it. You know, they were just talking about God that no one had seen. You understand? They were talking about things that were abstract. God is abstract because it's outside of our reality. Yes, even though they want you to believe that it's part of your reality, but God is outside of our reality, but lives within us. You know, how do I explain that? Because God is outside of our reality. I'll say God for the sake of my video, but I often say the Almighty, or the Most High. But because God is outside of our reality, but live within us, so it quickens us to act within our reality. You understand? So you get the notion, they call it discernment, to do things within your reality, even though the Almighty exists outside of your reality. So organized religion was able to bring whatever was inside of your reality, which is God, into your reality. And it did that explaining what God is. No one knows what God is. No one can understand the thinking of God. They call them theology. Or they call it theology, but they call them theologians. They try to explain this reality that lives within you. You understand? This abstract entity that lives within you, they try to take that from within you and explain it into reality. That's how it all started, But you don't need someone to explain your own personal spirituality because it's personal to you. The way God relates to you is different than the way God relates to the next person. And that whole essence explain healing, the healing process. And that whole entire essence, my friend, explain the way people are prosper. That entire essence explains the way we are blessed. So you can see one person being blessed than the other. Why is that? Because of the way we approach our spirituality and the way we approach the Almighty within us. That's how our portion is expanded. Has nothing to do with anything in the sky. These people know the truth. Organized religion, my friends, knows the truth. And they are misleading you. And that's what I talk about. By the way, anyone watching my videos, anyone that follow me, look, if you think I'm going to come on my channel and be threatened by anyone, if you think I'm going to come on my channel and be, distracted by anyone, if you think I'm going to come on my channel and talk about things that's not relevant to our world, you are mistaken. Look, I said it and I'll say it again. If it's one person that watched my video, YouTube, I'm okay with it. Be doing your thing. Be doing your thing because you are no longer about freedom of speech. You are no longer, we know it. We know it. A lot of people know this stuff. So we're going to talk about the things that we want to talk about. We're going to talk about the things that are relevant. Those things that are I don't want to use the word darkness. Those things that are hidden are the things we're going to talk about. You understand? And the only thing you can do is hold back my videos. That's the only thing you can do. Yeah, how long will you do that? How long will you hold it? So go ahead, bro. Mindset, you see, that's why I told you when I do these videos, I'm not doing them by myself. I'm doing them because something is driving me. And whatever is driving me is the truth. And those people out here that are misleading our world, that are refusing, because just imagine if we didn't have organized religion. We can say, most people can say, if you didn't have organized religion, you wouldn't have government, number one. You wouldn't have hospitals. You wouldn't have schools. You wouldn't have all of the things that all these institutions out here were created by, were spun out of organized religion. Organized religion is the bedrock for everything. Believe it or not, it's true. So all those people, the only thing you can do, you can't fight against them. The only thing you can do is watch them fight against each other. And that's what you see in our world today. Most of the wars that you see, they're fought primarily on religious disagreement between the two religions, the opposite religion. That's all it is. There's no war fought on this planet without religious input. No, all of them are fought. We're just a spectacle. We're just watching them fight. But I think the next phase is not going to be between Islam and Christianity. These are the two corporate. The other ones, they just sit back and watch. It's not going to be. It's going to be, my friends, I will reiterate it again. It's going to be between Catholicism, which is the bedrock of the Christian principles. Without Catholicism, if you don't know it, without Catholicism, there won't be none of these denominations out here. Catholicism was established as a universal religion. That was the goal, to be one religion. Get rid of all the confusion. But within the Catholic religion came all of these denominations. You understand? That you see today. You already mentioned their names. You understand? These are all foot soldiers of organized religion. And they all established. If you don't know, the first hospitals, clinics, those things that would benefit society, food pantries, all of these things, anything that addresses the need of society, were all started by organized religion. And it still is today. The only thing they've given up a little bit to government, because government came out of them too. You don't know, there are preachers that are politicians. Now, I'm going to do a video on that, the politics of a preacher, man. I'm gonna do a video on that. So you know that out of the organized religion come politicians. Some of them are so ignorant in their belief system that they bring it into politics. You see that today in our world. I mean, Ted Cruz is another one. Don't even know anything about his own scripture, but he's out there trying to debate. Imagine an individual like that, a politician. So imagine, most of these people that you see, some of them come out of these different various organized religion, and they go into politics. Without religion, there's no government. The laws are based on religious texts, religious guidelines, so to speak. Without religion, no government. So that's why, me personally on my channel, I never extrapolate the two. I always say these are the two that are our problem. If you didn't have religion, if we didn't have organized religion, we would have government, but the government will work. The government will work. We're designed to evolve. So organized religion cannot say it's because of them that we are civilized. Solomon, is it Charlemagne? Charlemagne was a king. I don't think he was that religious. Charlemagne was a European king. I think that's the name, Charlemagne. Charlemagne, I think. He was a European king. He was not religious, but he set down the laws. But the Babylonians were not Christians, they were not Muslims, but they set down the golden rules. So human within themselves knows what's right or wrong. You don't need religion because religion is embedded in human beings. Organized religion is what I talk of. I want to distinguish the two. All humans are religious by nature. Organized religion has nothing to do with human religious aspect. Instead, they just extract that from you and then make it organized. Put it in a book called the Bible, the Talmud, the Quran, the Gita, whatever is out there. They just put them. If you notice, only them have the authority to omit and edit anything in there. They call them versions. If you don't know that, if you don't know what omit and editing means, subtract and addition, because they call it a version. When you see somebody write a book about their belief system, this charismatic, organized religious leader out here, they'll write a book about and sometimes become best-selling books. Why? Because it's their doctrine, it's how they think. It's whatever they're talking about in there is the same thing that the Apostle Paul did. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with spirituality. Spirituality is personal. And they just took your personal spirituality and explained it in the form of a text called whatever religious text. And they're so brazen enough that they even set their own guidelines in there, what you can do with your life. And they control every aspect of your life. And you don't even know it. And that's what we talk about. That's what I'm not going to say because I'm not the first to do this. There are millions of people out there that are doing the same thing, that are educating the people about the demise, the symptoms and signs of organized religion. Organized religion, my friends, is embedded in our society. all of our laws, all institutions, most of our institutions or government are all members of organized religion. Even though they may say I don't think the founding fathers of this great nation intended this to be, but they're not around anymore. I don't. Maybe for some reason, the founding fathers thought that those people who would come after them would go by their vision of this country toe to toe or nail to nail. But did they know that at some point, because organized religion was so powerful because none of the founding fathers were religious people, organized religious men. They may have been religious, but religion is personal. So I can say they are religious people in their own ways, you understand, in their own personal life. But being organized religion, no. That's why they said straightforward. They were like, we don't want religion. But they did not specifically say organized religion. I think they should have said that. That way it would have been right in the Constitution, organized religion. But today we know it as organized religion. But all religion started as a cult. And then with time, years, it has to be decades, years, 2,000, 3,000, 100, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, then it become a religion. That's exactly what happened. So today they are organized religion. That's what we know them to be, and that's what they are, because they are controlling every aspect of your life. They are so organized that even if you try to, the only thing you can do is inform people, educate them, that whatever is it they're looking for is within them. Yeshua HaMashiach, aka Jesus the Christ, knew that he couldn't go erect the temple, because he told him, I would destroy the temple and build it in, I think, in 30 days or something like that. So Jesus himself knew that he couldn't fight against this behemoth, this powerhouse. So he just went on teaching the people. Never built a temple, because how can you be talking about something that's erected, has nothing to do with the Almighty, aka God, and then build you one? That's why he didn't do that. And even if you follow the teachings of Peter, they like to say Peter, because Jesus told him, hey, you Peter, you be the rock that even the gates of hell will never prevail against. So that's what Peter did his entire life, never built. No, he was loose. His teachings was going from one village, hamlet to another, preaching, never built a church. Peter never did. Who did? Paul, the Apostle Paul. Because the Apostle Paul was beginning to understand that even the message that he was preaching, if he didn't have something to show for it, it was irrelevant. Because people can sit there all alone and challenge your notion or your thinking of who God is. So he said, well, let's write something down. That way it's written. And if it's affirmed, there's no way you can change it. My friends, that is the beginning of organized religion. There's no way someone will tell you about God, if it exists, outside of your realm, without showing you in the form of a writing. That's why they have the transcript, the manuscript, the scribes, and all these things, because they have to show proof that God did exist. At some point in human history, the God they talk of came down and wrote these things through the eyes of men. And when human or minds, I say the minds of men, not the eyes of men, but through the eyes and minds of men, to give it to you. When if God wants to talk to anyone, and talk to you directly. Don't need no entities. Don't need no because the word of God did not come down to the one in the book now. They didn't go to the Chinese, they didn't go to the Koreans, they didn't go to the Indians, the Native Americans in the form of a book. It didn't go to the Africans, of course, in the form of a book. The only people it came down to was the so-called Middle East people and Of course, the Europeans. The Europeans are the ones, and today look at how they're abandoning whatever is it they started. Look at them. That tells you this whole thing is nothing but a mere imagination from the minds of someone who main focus is to control the masses. That's what it is. Anytime they tell you don't talk to those people, it's either with organized religion, it's always like us against them. Anytime you see this thing, those people over there are evil. Don't hang around them. It's good against evil, organized religion. Anytime you hear them talking about that, there's going to be a war between good and evil, Satan against God, organized religion. There's no such thing. There's not going to be no war against Satan, Lucifer, whatever you, the devil out there. The only war that's going to happen is between them. When I say them, I'm talking about organized religion and another organized religion. It's not going to be either this organized religion here is considering this other organized religion evil. That's how it is. Or government considering another government evil. That's it. There's no Satan, there's no God in none of that stuff. But between the mix of all of them is the Almighty. And that's who I personally subscribe to. I also subscribe to the teachings and principles of Yeshua HaMashiach, aka Jesus the Christ. Why? Because his words that were strictly based on spirituality was hijacked because they look for popularity. If you watch all of these charismatic leaders out here, you find out there are people out there that marvel them so much that they're willing to write books on them. They would only wait for them to die and they start writing books on them. Distorting the messages to a new audience. That's all they do. That's what Paul did to Jesus. Distorted his messages and then created his own gospel. And then eventually creating an entire religion out of the teachings of Yeshua HaMashiach, aka Jesus the Christ. Any seasoned preacher man that understand the true gospel of Jesus, those 4 books, would never read books from the Apostle Paul because Jesus wrote nothing down. Most of all the teaching he did was strictly oral, nothing written down. So I think that's a problem for Jesus too, because all those things that are oral, with time, they become distorted because the messages are being passed down from one generation to another. Someone who is smart, like the Apostle Paul, would come and capture that, hijack that, and turn it into something that has nothing to do with the teachings of Yeshua HaMashiach, aka Jesus the Christ. In order for him to do that, he had to attack Peter, and that's what Paul did, to make Peter look terrible. So anyone that understands organized religious history would know exactly what I'm talking of and would attest to it because it's the truth. I just want to thank those people that continue to watch what I do here. And I want to thank those people who are resisting the truth. You're resisting the truth because the truth is what convicts you. And if you're on my channel, you're resisting the truth, you are just living in a tormentment. You know what tormentment means? Tormentment is, in my own view, hell. Because hell doesn't exist. And you know it. Hell, heaven, none of these things exist. But guess what? You know what? You want to know where it exists? In you. And it's in your mind. And because it's in your mind, it's what convicts you to do the right thing. And hell and heaven is in your mind, and because it's in your mind, it allows you to live the right way. It torments you, it convicts you to do the right thing. It convicts you to live the right life, to live in the light. So that's where your heaven and hell is. You understand? So keep sitting there. You sit there. On my channel, I never ask anyone to subscribe. That's the reason. Because I may come on my channel here any day and I say something you don't like and you go. You understand? You leave. But if I don't tell you to subscribe, if you come here and you say something, that's why the beginning of my channel, any videos, I'm sorry, the beginning of any video, I tell you what my channel is. So if you subscribe, you know exactly what I do. So yeah, the truth is what convicts people. And the truth, my friend, is your heaven and your hell. And it allows you to live a just life. It allows you to live a righteous life. It allows you to treat others with dignity and respect. It allows you not to do harm to others, not to do things that are wrong, that are detrimental to the lives of others. So again, I want to thank all those people that are genuinely on my channel. I mean, some of them I started with, I honor you and your family. And most importantly, as I've always said, the greatest thing that could ever happen to anyone, it's not the day you were born, not the day you had your first car, the day you graduated from college, lawyer, become a lawyer, doctor, the day you had your first child, the day you became anything out here. The greatest thing that could ever happen to you, my friends, it's the day you discover yourself. Because from that moment on, everything, my friends, will start to make sense to you, including understanding the demise, the tricks, the trickery, the false illusion,